Okay. Let's continue. This guy runs through so much in this tutorial so fast, I'm having to play back his talking speed at half speed, so it sounds hilarious.
Move it only with the parent and also disable it for the select.
It's like a drunk guy teaching me to use Unity.
It only with the 2D collider.
So now you move the circle collider.
Now let's select our whole game object and let's zero out our Y value.
What is the undo button?
I find Blender to be incredibly difficult to use personally. Maybe like your Photoshop skills will transfer over in some way because I've never used Photoshop, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just following this guy step for step.
Even that though, I tried to do that, and I did do that, and I made a guy model, and I rigged it and everything, but I still had so much trouble because like the tutorial I was using was like not even that far out of date, like 2 or 3 years maybe. Are you in here right now, Jeff? Because Pretzel is playing me a Ninja Turtles movie rap.
Set for the turtle killer smash. Up, down, down, left, right, Konami code 7 lives into the dark turtle night. You got your technical stories, nothing as nice as that red-headed shorty. Angel suited with the connection to the boys. They got some toys, show van, show racer. They riding in the criminal of flavor. They think they got it bad, they got Triceratops on it. Busy destroying worlds, teleports in New York City. Brain flying in, he wants to steal the show. Got Irma scared Splinter doing rat time kung fu. Multicolor foots holding up the track. The populace freaking out, kid drag breaking habits.
Don't need ooze to give him a bruise. Renaissance artists are ass kicking. Don't get included in my muse. Let cool have a temper that's worse than Raphael. They say I should keep it inside, but what the shell? That's why my name ring bells like Florida Naga. Take it back, ring bells like Hector Salamanca. Breaking bad, born to be.
When did this come out?
More cutting edge than what's wielded by Leo.
Referencing referencing both the Ninja Turtles and Hector Salamanca from fucking Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. The better show. I said it.
Keep them hush like secrets at TGRI. Closest thing to perfect, 9.95.
We can see there is a hole inside our collider. Now the next step is create 3D mesh.
Oh, you can do 2D animation in Blender too.
Yes, you can.
I did not know that.
You can also do like procedural stuff, like stuff that, you know, procedural animations, and I guess if you really want, I bet if you really wanted to, let me look this up before I am wrong about it, but could you program a game in Blender? Thank you, Mama. No.
No?
Hold on, I hurt Lauren's feelings. I'll be right back. Also, while you were gone, there was a Ninja Turtles rap song on my radio station that also referenced Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad. So it's come out in the last, like, you know, far since the Ninja Turtles movies came out. Also, I hurt Lauren's feelings because she went to a thrift store and got me like a nice pair of shorts, and then she also held up like a Rick and Morty shirt, and I just said no. And she was it's a tie-dye Rick and Morty shirt that says "Get Swifty" on it. and and I was like, it's not because I don't like the shirt. Like I do like tie-dye shirts, and I like Rick and Morty. I just would never be caught dead wearing it in public because Rick and Morty people are assholes apparently.
I say.
Fans, I mean, not the creators.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon is fine.
I mean, to be fair, Dan Harmon seems like kind of an asshole too.
Really? I know him and Chevy Chase had like a fight or whatever, but I don't know why.
I don't know.
I'm gonna break my damn teeth. Anyway, I will now wear this Rick and Morty shirt all day so Lauren's feelings are not hurt. How's your donut coming? Is it finished?
It's got icing.
It's got icing. Damn.
Got icing. Sort of.
Did you pick a donut because the mechanic I'm stealing is so close to Donut County?
No, I picked a donut because that's what the man on the tutorial is.
Okay. Because I could, maybe I just lean it if I can't figure out a way to make all the mechanics I want, and I can just get the Donut County, mechanic down. We could just make a game called Donut County with actual donuts.
What should I be making? What a game.
I don't know. I don't know what the aesthetics are going to be yet. So just make, I don't know, make fucking whatever. And like, you could try to make a 3D character and rig it if you want. You could probably do it in a weekend. Although I would start with the rigging and end with the aesthetics. So you just make like a ragdoll guy. But
Yeah.
can I tie your shoes? Yes.
Both. Are you streaming?
Yes, I'm streaming.
And this collider will be trigger. And what we want is when the collider is touching some obstacle, the obstacle wake up and it will fall through the hole. So to set it up, let's open our script. So inside let's create onTriggerEnter method. And what we want, first when we touch our collider, select our hole parent and let's add sphere collider.
Yeah, at 0.75 volume or speed, this guy sounds like he's talking pretty normally actually. So I wonder if he uploaded this tutorial originally, saw that it was 35 minutes long, and was like, nobody's gonna watch a tutorial this long, and then
And spit it out.
and sped it up. Yeah.
It's possible.
The first thing that made me think was when he gets to this part of the tutorial where he has to like turn off the on and off the physics objects that like what interacts with what, and he it's like a matrix of check boxes basically, and he unchecks them so goddamn fast. I'm like, this
Oh,
guy is like a professional gamer, or like
I mean,
may actually be sped up.
like the things I do for work are just like that just comes muscle memory. I just like
Yeah, maybe.
flip the mouse to.
It could be
Yeah,
that.
it also he probably also spit it up.
Alright, let's see here.
And this collider will be trigger. And what we want is when the collider is touching some obstacle, the obstacle wake up and it will fall through the hole. So trigger and what we want is when the collider is touching some obstacle, the obstacle wake up and it will fall through the hole. So to set it up, let's open our script. So inside let's create onTriggerEnter method, and what we want, first when we touch our collider with our obstacle, we want to turn off collisions between our
Person
ground
with
and
probably
our
two small arms. But whatever.
Oh, where you did this? You did the thing that you're supposed to do, where you like use a picture for reference.
Mm-hmm.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah. I gotta put a...
So is there a rig underneath there already, or are you gonna try and
No,
rig it?
I'm gonna put it in. There's like a...
That was the hardest part I found. So good luck. Good luck with that.
There's apparently some sort of like pre-made thing that you can just jam in there.
Yeah, I actually remember.
I watched a video of it, and now I can't remember where I found it. I had to look up how to move the camera up and down, because
if you saw it on YouTube, you can go into your history, and whatever or you can't remember if you remember the video that it's in.
I got it.
But yeah, that looks pretty dang good. Much better, much more detailed and better than the first thing I made. Like, you have fucking hands that look like hands and not just circles. And the head that's shaped relatively like a head and not like actually no, my head was decent. This character looks female to me.
It is.
Okay. I'm down for a female character. Right on.
That's the thing I used.
Man, you did this so much faster than I did. Maybe it is like your Photoshop and stuff skills just translate over in a way that I don't have at all. But like, it took me like, I don't know, what took you, I'm not sure how long this took you, but it took me probably 4 or 5 hours to do the model part.
2 hours maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, not counting watching all the videos and stuff, though.
Looking pretty good, though.
Oh, there's a part I wanted to know.
Yes, Rem. Rem, I'm done helping you for right now, okay? I don't know how. I've never played that game. How would I know what to tell you? And it's a VR game, like.
So let's write physics.ignore collisions, and now we need to reference our. Let's go back to editor.
And armature. Better break.
Inactive unless we touch them and they will fall. So this is working great. So let's close our physics debugger. Now let's focus on the shader creation. Let's show our scene in shaded view. Now let's create onTriggerExit method, and let's copy the line and let's put false as a last parameter.
Wait Why are these things not reacting? Does this one still react? Here's a question. Is the ground even actually doing anything? Yes, it is.
Why isn't it grabbing that whole thing?
Yeah, rigging is a fucking nightmare. It was something I had a lot of trouble with this too, right? Like it's you're having trouble selecting what you want to select, basically.
I'm not having trouble. Like, are you looking at my thing?
Yeah, I am.
Like, look at what it's doing.
Yes. Okay, I had this exact same issue. I have no idea how I fix it though, so I'm not gonna be able to help you. I did fix it, but with fiddling around. Blender rigging stretching model. Rigging stretches my model. Totally new to Blender, I'm stuck here. I rigged my model with an armature by going into the object mode, clicking model, and then shift clicking the bones. Then pressing control, blah blah. It might be a layering thing. So the real mesh, the one that receives the automatic weights from the armature, it's actually made of a bunch of vertices, the ones that are moved. The problem here is the vertices created by the skin modifier aren't affected by the armature because they don't really exist yet.
On the other hand, oh shit. Oh, that one I lost a thumb on too. See, what happened was the hand was working fine, but the one hand was like grabbing the thigh along with it.
Yeah.
So I got rid of the finger bones. And now it's doing that hand thing.
So can you just undo to where it was working and then like...
No, I did it too many times. I did too much stuff.
Here, what if I do this actually?
Our
Just
public
stopped in to
political
see what you
agenda.
guys been working on.
Not much is done yet. I basically made Donut County.
That's cool.
But
Just a hole you move and
just a
things
whole you
drop into
move.
it.
You can't actually move it yet. I can move it in the editor though. But I will be able to move it. The thing is, the big problem right now is, you know, Donut County is a single piece of ground and, you know, it doesn't need layers of grounds like I want to do in this game. So I'm trying to figure out how to duplicate all the stuff I've done, like as if it was a prefab. Like when I make a new piece of ground, the way the tutorial taught me to do it, like none of the colliders come with it. So I'm trying to figure that out now, how to like duplicate it and still have the whole interact with any piece of ground, because I don't really understand what the tutorial is doing, to be honest. Like it's creating a 2D collider at a 90-degree angle from the 3D collider of the ground, and then there's like a hole drawn in that, and I'm not sure if it's just there for debug purposes or what it does, because then he also makes a 3D collider for the ground and cuts a hole in that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say without looking at the thing.
Here's the I mean, the tutorials, the one that says whole game in Heartlamp, if you want to watch through it, or I can just show you my project, but also
How to make a whole game.
it's quite long tutorial, but you only really need to watch like a third of it to understand where I'm at, because I don't need all the things that the game is doing. And Jeff made a model and is now trying to rig it and got frustrated and stopped because rigging is a fucking nightmare. The modeling though,
It
he
is
picked
terrible.
up really
Like, for some fucking reason, when I move the arm now, like, the hip is going with it, or the thigh, I guess.
Is rigging just annoying because you have to like configure everything's attached to and what moves when? Like, is that like there are probably
Yeah.
weird, annoying inputs and outputs?
Well, I mean,
To try.
I thought I found a way that, like, it does it automatically, but apparently
Not.
that's not the case.
Okay, I see. I at least see the piece that's not getting duplicated. It's the 3D ground collider, but why can I not duplicate it? I can duplicate it, but it's like invisible? Oh, wait, okay, because it's missing its mesh. How do I... Can I just copy? Here, what happens if I do this?
Man, I was just watching that video. Guy seems good at what he does. There's a lot of stuff that he just doesn't explain what you're, why you're doing it or anything. But I imagine it starts to come together as you get to play around with it.
So, here's...
I see you have right now 2D colliders, but you're missing your 3D collider from your 3D mesh from your second hole, if that's what that is supposed to be, your second plane, right? Because that's what you have to rotate 90 degrees, but it's transparent. It's not filled with green like he has.
So wait, so repeat that. I have...
So it looks like you're trying to make a second layer, right? A second ground, like a ground that would go beneath.
Yeah.
But if that was working properly, that ground that hole that you're moving, that perpendicular one, that should be filled green, right? Because like he does, like you haven't put your 3D component in there yet.
in the rotated 90 degrees 2D.
It doesn't. It looks like it's missing a 3D component. You're probably the 3D mesh or whatever it is.
First things first, you can add armatures to your scene by going to the
Right.
It shouldn't be. Hold on, let me restart. I haven't.
So make your original one invisible right now.
My original one.
Oh, I'm sorry, your second layer, whole layer invisible.
My second whole layer invisible.
The one that's vertically oriented right now.
I don't know how to do. Oh yes, I do. Hold on.
You should just be able to click on the parent and make it and click on the eyeball, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. There. Invisible.
But I would get rid of the whole thing, yeah. And then rotate if you want. Rotate your other mesh 90 degrees. So go to your pair, or your 2D ground hole collider or whatever it is, 90 degrees. So put it 0.
Oops.
Like that's the part that's missing right now, right? That this mesh is missing from your other one.
Yes,
you see
you're
how
right.
it's full green?
Yes, you're right.
Full
That's what I was just saying. Sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying. But yes, I was just saying that this is the part that doesn't get copied over for some reason, or it's like invisible. And I don't know why.
Well, what's the goal here? Is to have multiple layers where you'll have it fall through a hole, and then the hole.
So
it's one hole for like 2 layers or something.
So I want to make a game where you are a character who can turn into this hole, for a couple moments at a time and have things fall through multiple levels of a place, in order to remove obstacles and you can see puzzle solving stuff around that, right? So that's what I'm trying to do basically. Yeah. But you
don't even have a second layer down there yet, right?
I don't. But I can. Hold on. Let's I can make one. I can just duplicate. So here's the other thing that I don't understand. What is the 3D? These things are actually colliding with the ground, right? Because if I remove the ground, where's the ground? If I remove the ground, they fall, right? It's not like this thing that we were just talking about. The 3D collider is, the ground is just there for show, and that's the actual collider. It is. They are actually colliding with the ground, and basically what he's saying is, when I'm touching you as this hole, turn on my collision with the. Hold on, let me look at the code. The actual code is turn on my collision. With the ground collider, and turn off my collision with the mesh collider, and then
review his code again real quick.
And then when I am going away, turn on my collision with the ground again. Or sorry.
Let me see where he actually gets to it actually working as a whole.
That would be around. Let's see. The very first time it works as a whole.
Yeah, I'm looking for that. I'm getting there. It's around 6 something minutes, 7.
Yeah, after that, it's just basically an optimization thing where he's saying you don't need these on all the time. Here's another collider you can put on top of that to tell them when to turn themselves on. And then after that, it's just shaders and how to make the hole bigger and how to move the hole yourself and such. I'll be back in 1 second. I know what I have to do. I think I have to make another script. I would have to make a script for every piece of ground, right? Maybe that's not the best way to do it, but that's a way to do it.
Well, you need a
Because the script is what's making that mesh. That's why it doesn't get duplicated over. Right?
well, you'll need a mesh for you'll need a mesh for each ground. You don't necessarily need a new script. If each ground
Or I could have the one script run through every piece of ground and make a mesh for it.
you could run a new script for each ground. Like once the meshes are created, it doesn't matter, right? It's just the updating scripts that matter at that point. And if you're gonna be like, is the idea that you will be able to turn into a hole and then you'll have to go down a set of stairs to get to the next level?
Yeah.
Like, how do you go between levels?
Yeah, yes, it's stairs.
Okay.
You would turn into a hole and then you could take stairs down. So there might be. I expected it to actually look like a lot of different pieces of ground. I do you know what Monument Valley is?
Yeah, I've seen it. Sammy has it on her phone.
So like it would look like Monument Valley with a bunch of skinny paths and obstacles in the way and obstacles below those and so it wouldn't really strictly be floors. I just said that for explaining
So
the
at that
concept.
point, you're like, who cares? You could have if you want to do it lazy, you could make multiple scripts to do one for each layer, but you probably don't have to. You just need to set up the run the startup code for each thing though, so it won't matter if you do. For each layer, you just need the startup code to run and define the mesh and all that good stuff. And then the stuff that runs on update is the stuff that you'll need. You only need one of those because that's only that only needs to affect whatever layer you're on. So you just need to have some sort of assignment every time you go up or down stairs that change the meshes that you're working with.
Or my original plan was to just to change the meshes that are working with the whole.
Yeah, the whatever the update scripts are in this, it's hard to look because I don't have the code in front of me, so it's hard for me to try to cycle through the video and find his scripts.
Here, I can paste all the code if you want it. But
But
it's
the
it's
point
all
being, I'm not
it's-
gonna be able to work on this much. I'm about to go eat dinner, and I'm not gonna be able to work on this super late because I have a lot of schoolwork. But the idea would be, if you want to make these, like, yes, you can make these multiple objects for sure, obviously, and you can have the same set of scripts run in each of them. You don't even need actually probably new scripts. You're just gonna have multiple objects with the same scripts on them. But you're just going to need some way of identifying all of the levels, which will include, so you're going to need all of the ground objects, the 2D to 3D colliders. Have all those in a list, and then change those for the update, whatever script actually updates the whole movement stuff. Change those when you change a level. So, when you change a level, you need to have something that says, okay, replace the 2D to 3D colliders that we've defined in this script with the ones in the next layer.
Yeah.
So you don't need new scripts at all, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. You just need to duplicate objects, put the layer underneath. So literally copy the parent object.
So that's what I had been doing, but so when I do that though, right? It without a new script. How are you saying?
The whole stuff won't work until you tell the hole that you have
to go down to the
mesh
other
to work
ground.
with. Yeah, which set of objects that you're supposed to be working with. So that's the piece you're missing. I would get rid of everything that you're working on in terms of making the new layers because you're not going to need that. Really,
I don't have
already
anything
have the
yet.
objects.
I've done everything in like.
I mean, you have something perpendicular right now, right? Whatever that is.
Something.
Whatever the vertically aligned.
Oh, that's not that. That's
2D
just he
collider
has
right
that
now.
still on in his. He
Does he?
just turned it off. He just turned the thing to view it off. So.
No, he rotates it.
He
takes
rotates the 3D one. This is the 2D one that is.
He rotates both of them.
He rotate. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure he just rotates the.
Go
3D one.
to like.
Because what is the 2D one for if not for debugging? Like it.
No, he shows it vertically so that he can watch it more easily, but he eventually rotates the
Only
2D.
with the
I
time?
believe.
I think he rotates the
Also
3D.
the
I don't
3D
think he
pilot.
rotates.
I mean, the
2D.
2D and the 3D. I feel like he
Probably
rotates, but
select our whole parent.
he rotates. I believe the whole
assign
object.
Our 3D ground
The parent, I
collider
think,
to the
but let me double
generated
check.
mesh
I could be wrong.
variable. Now let's off the display of our 2D colliders.
You might be right. Hold on.
But on other side.
I think the whole process of having the
At
2D,
6
3D is just the process of punching a hole in a plane.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
So at 620 or so, or 615, he turns off the 2D thing that I have
Hold on, let
on,
me see.
and I don't think he turns it back on again, and it's not rotated when he turns it off. Or rather, it's rotated in the orientation that I have it
Other
rotated in.
side, we want to see
Let me
our
see.
3D colliders. So let's select window, analysis, and let's click on physics.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he does turn off the display of the 2D colliders. Okay, you're probably right. It is probably just a debugging thing. I
So-
thought he was rotating it. So then, yeah, then that's even easier. Then the 3D collider literally is just like the 2D collider probably, yeah, literally is. You could
You
probably.
are right, though. I think the thing to do is I'm going to have to tell it which ground object it should be working with. And
And then all you have to do, that's good. That's probably good news though, because really all you have to do is duplicate the parent object for the 3D collider. Just make the same object again down and put it down a layer. The 2D. Here's a good thing though. We should test. I'm curious. I do want to see this. Can you disable the 2D and the 2D collider objects? I
And
want
will
to see
it
if it
still
still
work?
works with just the 3D stuff.
how do I disable them?
I think you click on them so that you see them in the inspector, and then on the inspector, uncheck the thing next to its name.
Okay. Alright, let's see if it still works.
I'm just curious. This will confirm whether or not it needs it or not.
Yes, it still works. I didn't think it needed it. Like
Okay, that's good. I mean, yeah, that's great news. That's a part of his, like, hey, this guy clearly intelligent, clearly knows Unity, does not know how to make a tutorial.
Yeah, I had complaints about the tutorial. Also, he flies through it to the point where I was saying to Jeff before, I think he may have originally uploaded like a 30 or so 35-minute video and then was like, this is too long, I need to like speed this up because like I'm watching.
He knows he must have done this so many times. He doesn't make a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go back and redo something. So yeah, take away the 2D stuff. Like, don't even look at it. You don't need to look at it. It's probably more confusing than it is helpful.
That is probably true.
So at that point, all you need to do is copy that whole parent object, paste it down, bump it down on the y-axis.
Actually, do I even need to do that? Like, or do I just need to tell it like
You'll definitely need a new 3D collider for the new hole.
Cause like even the 3D one, here, let me run it and test this theory. But here's the 3D collider.
That's with the 3D collider on, right? So you have it on. Oh, you're going the wrong direction. I think you grabbed the vertical movement. Why is the hole not moving?
I'm not on the hole right now. I'm on the 3D collider, but so why is it not? Here, hold on. Maybe I turned something off here. So if I run this, I grab the 3D. Actually, let's grab the whole parent object. Maybe that'll move it. No, why does it? Whatever. Let's move it over here and just see.
Oh, I keep forgetting I'm behind on your stream.
So actually, yes, the 3D one is actually working exactly the same way. It doesn't really matter. It's just the ground, and it's like mapping to the ground. It's mapped to the same.
So wait, wait? Hold on. Well, hold on. Let's make sure.
Right?
Turn off that 3D collider like you did.
Turn it entirely off. Actually, that would I think make it fail because then it's not going to tell the objects not to, like, to check for. It won't tell the objects to stop checking for collision with the ground. Is what I think it's doing.
Yeah. Well, turn it off and we'll see the behavior of what it is. I agree that it will break it. I honestly, it might even break it to a point of crashing.
All right, let's see. Whole parent. Oh no, you can. You can actually still turn it off entirely. It is just like the 2D ones.
So what the hell is it doing?
It's just it is mapped. So it is mapped to the ground, right? It's mapped exactly to where the ground is.
Click
right?
on the parent 2D to 3D collider.
Should we turn this off? Actually, that may.
That's
That may be doing what.
That may be what we're waiting for, to see if it breaks. So press play there.
Oops. Nope, even that works. Even that still works.
So is this really just a display
So it's just a
thing?
visual representation of what the ground is. So everything.
Man,
is
he's
being
so
done
bad
in
at
the script.
explaining things.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten to the part, or I've gotten there. I just wasn't really focusing on it because I was so worried about these colliders. So who cares about that object? Then this is all about the whole.
It is all about that, and all the script is on the whole. So how do I tell?
I mean, you could. I mean, if you really.
So
wanna
then
be
why?
sure.
Here's my question actually. Why doesn't it still work? Let's turn these back on. And actually, no, I know why. But
I was gonna say, if you really want to be sure, delete that from the project and see. Maybe save it as something new. Delete it from the project and see. See what happens. You're gonna need to enable it from the top. Oh yeah, you already figured that out.
So So like, why does this work then? I think I know the answer, but I just want to hear if you have the same answer. So like, if I run this, duplicate the ground. Oh wait, I'll have to do this before I run it. So if I duplicate ground, move it over here. Move one of these cubes over here. And then run it. Alright, so that's all fine and dandy. And then I go to the whole parent. And it does not work over here. Right? Why like, explain why you think that is. Like, why does it not work now? Like,
Off the top, I'd have to look at his code more closely. I don't know for sure. Maybe it only registers the collider from the quad, the first quad. Like maybe it's only paying attention to that. But I don't know off the top of my head, honestly.
I think what's going on is this function. Let's get rid of that. This function in here. One of the very first ones you make, make 3D mesh collider and make 2D hole. Right, all right. What's getting fed in here? Actually, what I think is happening is he's creating that mesh, that 3D mesh, as a representation. In every way, right? In its positions, in relation to whatever the ground object is, right? Because what are the variables I'm feeding in here? They are. Let's look at the whole. I'm feeding in the 2D collider for the whole, the ground 2D collider, and the 3D ground collider. So I'm feeding in the collider from the ground.
I'm curious as if even though those things are becoming deactivated, they're still somehow affecting it. That's why I am curious as if you were to delete it, if it would break the whole. If it would break the.
I'm sure. I'm almost positive that it would, but.
Now I'm wondering if those meshes do matter, and it's just the it doesn't need them to be activated. It just needs to get the data off of them. It needs to get their stats, essentially their
So here's what we'll do.
characteristics and stuff.
Let me duplicate this piece of ground. Right? Oh wait, why do I already? Why do I still have? Okay, I didn't.
Duplicate the ground.
And then feed the other ground in, right? Feed the other. So here I'll lay it so that if we see these two stay but this one fall, we'll know that it's probably what we think is happening. So now we go to the hole itself. Now we feed in 3D collider from.
Well, look at your ground collider, right? You want the new mesh from the new ground collider.
Ground. Oh wait. Ground 1 mesh collider. All right. So now if I run this, right? Or sorry, it's not. They won't fall. They'll all stay there. But what's when the hole gets under them? This one, right, should no longer. Whoops. This one should no longer fall, and it doesn't. And these ones should still fall, although maybe not because the other piece of ground is under it.
Underneath them, yeah, you might need to.
So let me go to the original ground.
Can you just move the ground while you're running this?
Ooh, but it's.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yes. Okay.
So here's my question. Do one last thing. Move that last rectangle off of the mesh.
This one, just drop it off the mesh, you mean?
Just move it to the right so that it's not on the mesh, but it's on the second ground.
Okay.
And
then
it's
go
not
back.
on the
And then go back
so it
to
should
the hole.
stay. Yeah, and then go back to the hole and use it. I want to see if those things only if they define like the hole's area of effect at all, or
yes, they do. Okay, so this one does still stay.
So that mesh does do more than I thought it does. So you will still need to make. I think.
Oh look, if I'm touching it, yes, it does, because the hole needs to be touching it. If I'm touching it at the same time, it does fall.
Okay, so if the hole is touching the mesh and the object, it'll fall. So the mesh
object,
is somehow
yeah.
activating the whole pass-through function. So what we've learned is you will need a new ground, and you will need the new 2D to 3D collider. The importance of them being that you don't necessarily need them to be active in any way, but they do need to exist so that the whole can get their parameters and use those to figure out how it does its shit. So if you click on whole, the parent object for whole, the things that you pass in are the things that you're going to need to change when you're changing layers.
Right.
So that all that stuff that you're showing there, you're going to need to change those 4 things, and then you should be golden.
Yeah. So basically, yes. So maybe I can just write a script on the hole that changes what it's feeding into.
So on the whole,
so actually, here's the thing though. Does it actually need to be?
Just create a script that goes off of key movements, or that on a key press moves you down to the next layer. So offsets you by a y offset, and then replaces all of the things with the ones you know they are, what their names are going to be, just because you can just manually what the names will be, so you can just manually type it in, and that's a really quick, dirty way. It should take you 10 minutes to write up of how to make sure that this will work.
So wait, you're saying just make a script where with key presses I can change what's being fed into these things? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So make a new ground. Offsets Y offset. Make a new 2D to 3D collider output. The only thing you need to change is its Y offset. Then for then make a script that just says, when you press enter, it changes it moves the hole down to that Y offset. and then changes all those colliders to the new colliders, and move it around and see if it works. And if it works and activates, then you've you've got it.
Yeah, because right now the only lingering question is in my mind is like, did that with that last cube that we made fall, did it work because the hole was touching the mesh and the?
I think it only worked because the hole was touching the mesh and above and on top of the object. Because it didn't work when you were too far to the right, but once you got closer to the side of the hole touched the mesh, I think it worked.
So it doesn't actually matter if the cubes themselves are touching the mesh, just as long as the hole is there to bridge.
That's what it seems to be.
Okay.
You untie
as far as
them
I can tell.
Tie them because mommy's making food for me.
Untie them and tie them? Why?
And put them on. I'll put them on when they're untied, and then you
All right.
tie them.
I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Right on. Thank you for helping me think through the
Mommy's making me food.
thing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if that
Are you
strategy works. So let me know.
I'm interested to see if I'll how long it will actually take me to write that script.
I think it might take longer than 10 minutes just because you don't know.
I don't know
You'll have to
the
look
syntax
up
of Unity.
syntax. But in essence, it's pretty simple, right? Just make sure all you gotta do is have 4 lines, in addition to whatever line detects the key press. It's just gonna be.
I don't even think I need 4 actually. I don't think I need to change the whole 2D and whole.
Yeah, probably
2D.
not. But I would just do all of them to be safe. That's how I would do it, just to start. And if you wanted to test it, then a good way of testing it would be start to comment out some lines that you think might not actually matter, and that would be a good way to confirm. Because all the things that we just did to confirm whether the 2D collider work or matters or not. Actually, I realize now aren't true. Because even though we were making them inactive, I think that it still might have a parameter level effect on it. I'm not sure.
I don't know enough about Unity to say one way or the other, but I feel like that was a pretty conclusive showing that they don't actually matter, right? Like,
yeah, but then we disabled the 3D thing and it still worked. We disabled so. But then, and when you went outside the 3D mesh.
Oh yeah, you're right though, because then it still didn't.
So that it just invalidated that method for me as a method for testing. But so all you really need to do is just really 4 lines of update the meshes, or 5 lines I guess, and then offset the Y position of the hole, right? So
yeah,
and you'll know the name of the meshes. You can physically drag the new meshes into the hole to get their names, and just literally stupidly type them. Reference them.
Wait, what do you mean? So, you mean like drag them into the place on the inspector within the component?
Yeah, and you'll get their exact names of how you need to reference them that way.
But do I need to do I don't know what I don't know if I need to do get name or.
I think there's if it's just the name of it, there's a game object.find or something like that. I forget. Or you can do game object.find.mesh or something like that. So you'll be able to find it. But that should give you a hint of how to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully that will. If that does work, then you already have everything you need to make the game. You just need to then, put in the components that change you from a person to a hole.
Yeah, I also need to. Well, actually, I guess I can make you just die if you fall off the world. But originally, I was gonna make it like in Monument Valley, where you can't just walk off and kill yourself, because I want you to be able to push the boxes around as a person too. So being able to push them off would ruin a lot of puzzles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I want you to be able to push them as a person and then make them fall to the bottom floor as a whole, basically.
All right. I'm gonna go eat some dinner.
Alrighty. Catch you later. This game's gonna be a late Ludum Dare entry, but I think I could get a game in. It'll be late.
I think this Ludum Dare is just going to be me figuring out how to use Blender.
Yeah, and me figuring out how to use Unity, and then we'll be better for it in the end. I'm not actually. I'm learning some things about Unity. I understand it a slight bit better. I do not understand C# at all. I'm really bad at it.
Alright, I'm going to bed.
Yep.
Alright. NASA.